Welcome to Think Tank Tutor. Today we are going to discuss about animal diversity, as we have already promised you that we are going to explore different concepts in biology and chemistry. Let us begin with introduction to animal diversity, and we hope that you are going to enjoy. Okay, let us we start on this introduction to animal diversity. Before we step forward, remember that there are five kingdoms. There is Kingdom Animalia, Kingdom Plantae, Kingdom Protist, Kingdom Monera, and Kingdom Fungi. So let's advance on Kingdom Animalia. General characteristics of Kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia, these are heterotrophic and multicellular organisms. It means that they cannot produce their own food according to heterotrophic nutrition and having many cells. That's why they are multicellular. Also, they have eukaryotic cells and they lack cell wall. As you can see in different kingdoms such as fungi and plantae, those animals there they have cell walls, but in animal cell there is no cell wall. Due to being eukaryotic, they have true nucleus, mean nucleus with nuclear membrane. Third, they have different tissues including connective tissues, muscle tissues, nerve tissues, and epithelial tissues. Those connective tissues are used to support, to connect or bind tissues and organs together. Those muscle tissues are used, they create contraction which result in movement, whereas nervous tissues are involved in sending and processing nerve impulses. On epithelial tissues, they are used in different functions, including exchange of materials in a cell or in organism. Some are used in protection, such those lie on our skin. Yeah. Connective tissues include adipose tissues, bone tissues, blood tissues, epimysium tissues, endometrium tissues, and alveolar tissues. Adipose tissue are the tissues involved in storage of fats. Those bone tissues are used in different functions, including support of course, manufacture of blood cells, and so on. Blood tissues are involved in mainly transport and defense mechanism. These epimysium and endometrium, these are tissues which are found around the muscle tissues. They are involved in protection and separating different muscle tissues. While alveolar tissues are tissues that lie behind our skin tissue, and they act as connective tissue between these skin and muscles inside the body. Another important fact, you have to know that about 95% of all animal species are invertebrates, means they have no backbone or vertebral column. Other 5% of animal species are vertebrates, mean they have backbone or vertebral column. Classification of animals. Animals are classified based on different criteria, including body symmetry, number of germinal or embryonic rare formed during embryogenesis, presence or absence of body symmetry, and so on. Starting on body symmetry, organism can be null or asymmetrical symmetry, means they lack any point of brain. Example, there is sponges. Then second, it is spherical symmetry. This means that the organism looks the same from any direction. Unlike bilateral or radial symmetry where there are specific planes of symmetry, symmetrical symmetry implies that organism is asymmetrical in all directions. In this organism, any plane passing through the center of sphere will divide the organism into two symmetrical halves. However, it is important to note that organisms with true spherical symmetry are limited and must exhibit bilateral or radial symmetry. Organisms with bilateral symmetry. Example, paramecium. Those organisms, they have one point of plane that can be used to separate that organism into two equal halves. One half is a mirror image of another. Radial symmetry. Example, actinopoda or cnidarians. Those organisms, they have many planes of point that can be used to separate that organism into two equal halves. Biradial symmetry. Organism with both radial at one end and bilateral symmetry on the other end. Example, comb jellies. Those organisms can have radial symmetry at one end, mean can be separated into different halves from different point at one end of with radial symmetry and the other with bilateral symmetry. According to embryonic layers, some organisms have no embryonic layers due to absence of tissues. Example, sponges. Then diploblastic organism with two embryonic layers. Example, cnidarians and stenophores. Triploblastic organism with three embryonic layers. Example, chordate and echinoderms. On triploblastic organism mean those organisms with three layers are further classified according to their body cavity. Then first we have aceromate. Those organisms with no body cavity. They have three layers, namely ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, with digestive cavity, but they have no body cavity. Pseudoceromate, organism with incomplete body cavity. As you see on the diagram, they have those three layers, ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, with pseudoceromic cavity and digestive cavity. They are said to be pseudoceromate because that body cavity is not complete. As we will see on ceromate, the ceromate, its body cavity is surrounded by mesoderm layer, but on this pseudoceromate, directly ectoderm is fused with mesoderm and preceded by that pseudoceromic cavity as we see on the diagram. Third, ceromates, organism with complete body cavity surrounded by mesoderm. As you see on the diagram, that ceramic cavity is surrounded by mesoderm layer, as you see on that color. Protostomes and heterostomes. Protostomes are organisms in which the blastopoa changes firstly to mouth and anus is formed after. During fertilization, there is formation of single cell called zygote. That zygote undergo a lot of divisions, of course, mitosis, and forms a large ball of cell called blastula. That blastula grows further and forms cup-like structure, which is called blastopoa. When that blastopoa changes firstly to mouth and anus is formed after, that organism is called protostomes. Example, we have Phylum Annelida, Phylum Mollusca, and Phylum Arthropods. Those organisms there, they are protostomes. The heterostomes are organisms in which the blastopoa changes firstly to anus and the mouth is formed secondary, meaning that blastopoa forms anus and the mouth is formed secondary, including chordates and echinoderms. Of course, as we people, we are also The pterostomes. Summary on classification of animals. Animals can have porifera as those organisms with no tissues, and eumetazoa, those organisms with true tissues. That organism with no tissue, they have asymmetrical symmetry, while on that organism with true tissues can be classified, of course, according to the embryonic layer into diploblastic organism and triploblastic organism. Diploblastic organism, they have bilateral symmetry, while diploblastic organism, they have radial symmetry. Example, on diploblastic organism, we have cnidarian and stenophore, while on triploblastic layer is further classified into three categories according to the presence or absence of body cavity. There can be ceromets, aceromate, and pseudoceromate. On pseudoceromate, example, we have nematodes or roundworms. On aceromate, we have platyhelminths or flatworms. Then, as we have seen, ceromates also is further classified into protostomes and heterostomes. Example of protostomes, we have mollusca, annelid, arthropods, and on the heterostome, we have chordate and echinoderm.